All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Dorian Wallace, and this is my partner and colleague and friend, Dee Marisa.
Hey, guys.
Yeah. And so this is Maderi Music, and it's a podcast where we discuss the intersectionality of music and healing and social justice and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Dee and I met at working at Rikers Island, doing music-oriented therapeutic work. And so, yeah, that brings us today. So, Dee, you had brought attention to this article. Well, it was an Instagram post. And did you want to go into any of it first before we start diving into it?
No, I think you can give some context and then we'll just do some commentary.
Okay. So, I'm going to start off with just sharing the window that I have open. So this is what Dee Marisa had sent me. Police, Cincinnati officer used racial slur while stuck in traffic. And so this is more info. It's like a Black-oriented, anti-racist news influencer. Is that accurate to say? Yeah. So what they write is, according to an internal investigation, Officer Valentino is on desk duty after using the N-word in a profanity-laced rant in her cruiser. Valentino said, "Fucking blank, I fucking hate them." The statement came after a male student walking by her cruiser gave her the middle finger. She says she was experiencing a mental episode. And just to actually point it out, the comment right underneath it is, "White people love hiding behind mental health, medical conditions, and any special cause to avoid accountability. Girl, you meant it, and it has nothing to do with mental health." So we'll start there. So what, yeah.
Yeah. We in the cooker, y'all. Come get in with us. So I feel like this stuck out to me because these systems, I don't even know what to call them. For lack of a better word, are oftentimes dismissed and overlooked when they should be scrutinized, right? Like, there are so many systems that filter or are populated by people of color that are led or controlled by white people. And to think that this woman her job is to serve and protect, right? Her job is to keep order in the community, because that's what police are hired to do. Keep order, keep people safe. And for her to, in a split second, so this is your subconscious, right? Like, your subconscious, your conscious mind, it's a little bit of the id and the ego mix. This is how you feel about a certain group of people that you took an oath to protect, right? And like, I get it. She was in her own car and whatever. She might have been off duty. Oh wait, didn't they say she was in her PT Cruiser or something?
Yeah, she was on duty as far as I can tell. She was on duty.
So when you got up in the morning, you put your uniform on and you got your badge on, you knew that you were stepping into the role of a professional. And even in that, your bias seeped through, right? We know that, like, the nature between the community, and especially communities of color, and police are strained. We know that. Are we saying that it is okay, or am I saying it is okay for this young man to have given her a middle finger? Absolutely not. But I also think a middle finger does not equate to calling somebody a nigger, especially as a fucking professional. And take it even further, for this, it must have been documented in some way There must have been witnesses there who gave statements or somebody who recorded a video or something because the article is put out. But she was put on desk duty. Are we really putting people on desk duty for racial slurs? Because they manifest into so many other things. And I think it struck a nerve for me because of my experience working at Rikers. You know what I mean? Like, I was one of two people of color. I was the only woman of color. The other party was a male and, you know, Hispanic Caribbean male. And there are always disproportionate treatments where it be women versus men, Black women versus Black men, or Hispanic men versus Black men. This is just what it is, right? And I was not treated well, simply because I was Black, simply because this professional was not able to check their bias.
Yeah.
Even though we're in a professional environment. And there were things that happened to me that are traumatic simply because I'm Black. I did not ask to be born Black. I was born that way. It's not something I can control. It'd be different. It would be my mannerisms, or if I were unprofessional, or my work ethic was poor, or something to that effect. And even if it were any of those things, racial biases do not address any of those things. Give them a middle finger back, for Christ's sakes. Give them a middle finger back. Tell them to fuck off. But to even, you fucking nigger, I hate them, that means you've had some time to sit and simmer on those thoughts, and you've come to the conclusion of how you feel towards said people. And I think that if you have a racial bias, you should not be a police officer. Yeah. So that was my rant. I'm gonna pass it to Dorian.
Yeah. So, you know, this is, you know, the podcast of Dorian getting uncomfortable. And there's going to be some good reason, I think, just from hearing you speak. So, you know, I grew up in a white community, and there are a lot of incidents that have come to mind in recent, you know, I'll say the last decade or so, of just very casual racism that was just amongst my friend group or my family group, people I went to school with. And like one of them that came to mind was, there was one time I was at a house party and an individual did basically the Chris Rock bit, but where it was, I don't mind Black people, but I hate N-word. And, you know, at the time I had to have been 21, 22. And I remember like thinking it was not right, because there wasn't, you know, what is this differentiation that that this individual was making? But the even more shameful piece is no one spoke up, myself included. No one spoke up at all, and it just gets into the even deeper space, because this individual was a musician. Like he's an artist, he's a guitar player, and the music he plays is so, you know, it is soaked in African American experience and trauma and everything. And it's just, he said this just so casually because he had a few beers, is the way we kind of justified it. It's you know, it's really dark to to acknowledge it. I feel comfortable in front of you, DeMarisa, but you know, it's an uncomfortable thing to actually start talking about, because you know my friend group was, in the grand scheme of it, pretty, you know, liberal, I guess, in like a certain way. But yet these things just happen often, you know, and like I could literally say that it realistically, I heard things like that happen probably once every 2 weeks or so, like of that level of just like, oh, okay. But anyways, to go into what we're speaking about specifically with this officer, I was just struck by the nature that the nature of your commentary, which went right into the professionalism of this. And so I'm curious if you could elaborate a bit more on that area, like why your mind kind of took you to that space.
Because I feel that while I think racism is wrong and having racial bias towards a group of people is horrible, I also feel like it's something that is so much bigger than me. And I also feel that even though it's icky and horrible and disgusting, I don't get the right to tell a person how to feel. Right? And I think that's the humanity of it. I think that's just my informed clinical opinion. But I feel like professionalism evens the playing field. And I want to let me double back, right? And I also feel like my views around this, like the way that I receive this topic, is a residual effect of slavery anyway. Right? Like, I don't know that I've been in many spaces where I have been empowered to feel like I can tell a white person who is blatantly racist that they are wrong for being that way. I feel like in all experiences where I have been harmed in that way, I have been terminated or made to seem super sensitive or like I'm crazy or like any of that, with blatant acts of disrespect. And so I feel like the safe space for advocacy for people of color in situations where they're experiencing or being harmed by racial bias is professionalism, because those things are black and white, right? There are laws that are supposed to protect you in the case that someone is mistreating you from your orientation, or your race. Yeah. And that, sadly, that's the only safe space for us. That's the only safe space. And even then, people are so crafty. And that's the other part too. Like, I don't know, like when you get deep down into the spirit of a person, it's one thing to have a bias about something and, struggle to check it. It's another thing to be crafty, operating within this bias that should not exist. It is crafty when you can say, the systems are horrible and, all these people never had a chance to begin with, and then say, like, call me a Karen, but I'm calling the police on people of color that don't look familiar in my neighborhood. That's crafty. I do. And I'd rather you own it. Just be like, I don't like her. You know what? I might have to take you back. Because at least I know where this officer stands. Oftentimes, folks pretend to be fake woke or just not about that. And it shows up in so many other ways that are just much more harmful. And I think for me, you know, especially as a woman, but also as a woman of color, I'm already struggling in my work environment. And I think that's a commonality between most of us because of racial bias, because of sexism, because of patriarchy, right? We're never validated. And the higher up the chain you go, and being, it's all interconnected too, because a lot of us are single moms. So we're constantly striving to find better opportunities so that we can sustain a family. But in doing that, the higher up the chain you go, the less it's reflective of people like you. And so you're always in a space where you are looked at or treated as if you are uninformed or less than or whatever. So that's just in of itself. And then people take the opportunity to throw jabs and do slights and all this underhanded stuff while smiling. Yeah. So now I'm kind of torn because, like, in the one way I'm offended that she said it, but in the other way I'm like, thanks sis for being transparent. Right? I don't know.
It's, you know, one thing just on the professionalism space, you know, I always think about, have you ever come across you know, somebody involved in mental health, like psychology or therapy or, you know, any of those spaces who's, you know, incredibly bigoted against LGBTQ. I've come across that way more often than you ever should. You know, and there's just a place where, you know, where I do agree with something that you just said is that, you know, we can't really control what a person thinks or what a person believes. It's not really our space to do that. Right. However, if you have a bias, an unchecked bias, that is actually existentially dangerous to people that you're supposed to be serving, you shouldn't have that job. You shouldn't
come on, Dorian,
occupy that space. You know, it's it's so, you know, let's just get into unconscious biases. So there's a really great book that I recommend all y'all read. It's called My Grandmother's Hands, and it's about transgenerational trauma. And the way that this author breaks it down, and he's a somatic therapist, but the way that he Resme Menakem, he breaks it down into three broad categories, which is white body trauma, black body trauma, and blue body trauma, which is the trauma that people in the law enforcement fields experience. And the reason I've found this book very helpful is because he acknowledges the unconscious trauma that different categories of people are experiencing it, while also not justifying things. So, for instance, it can be very easily pinpointed in domestic violence cases that the person committing the violence is more than likely somebody who has also had violence inflicted against them and also is most likely experiencing trauma and oftentimes even regrets the behavior that they've done.
Yeah.
This does not mean that that's the end of the conversation. That is an explanation on where shit is coming from. And so, you know, in my own trauma work, you know, there's a lot of body mind awareness that we have to do and focus on. And one of those things is to actually analyze what your body goes through when you're in an uncomfortable space. Yep. A very eye-opening moment moment for me once was I was walking down the street in Harlem, and there was a group of young boys, black boys, shooting the shit. And I literally felt my body tense up for no reason other than their presence was there. And so it was in that noticing of the, my heart rate literally started to go up a little bit. I felt tension all over. And because of that, unconscious somatic response, it was like, okay, let's actually analyze what's being like, what's going on. These kids were talking about fucking skateboarding. Like, I honed in on what they were talking about. They were talking about fucking shooting the shit, hanging out. They weren't doing anything. And yet, just by the mere presence of that, my body went into an instinctual trauma response.
Right.
So this woman here, and we're psychoanalyzing from a distance. So don't take this, there's ethical, there's ethical issues if we're actually like diagnosing people and all that shit. But I would say that, because it is a knee-jerk response, that there is something unconscious about it. She may not even consciously think that way. It doesn't fucking matter though. She's got to do some serious self-reflection and figure out her shit on a human level. And until that actually takes place, she should not have the role of a protector. She should not be in that position. And just to fucking say this part too, but I mean, the tensions between the law enforcement and the Black community, you wonder why there's fucking tension. And I this is the one area I actually do. I don't even want to say disagree, because that's not the right way to word it. And this is also coming from a place of white privilege, but there's a part of me that's like, yeah, they should fucking flick her off. Like, that's fine. However, that's coming from a space of nothing would happen to me except I'd get yelled at. Like, so don't actually, listen to that as advice. If you're listening to this, but that was even in our conversation, you said he shouldn't do that. And I was like, I don't know, like, it's kind of deserved, like it, but not really. I don't know. I'm rambling now, but
no, I love it. Yeah. So that one was heavy on me, man, for a second. And I think I was also triggered because of what I had gone through, at Rikers. And I'm just like, see shit like that. And then people get desk duty, or they get to keep their jobs. And like people like me, one, are forever harmed and scarred. And two, end up getting fired or ostracized or labeled or blackballed or, and I just wish that I don't know. Cause she's a woman too. And there's some solidarity amongst women too. So I'm just like never wanting to cost anybody their job either. I also don't know her backstory. She could be a mom. She could be a single mom. She could be stressed because of work. She could have gone through something traumatic and just lost it, right? So, but if none of those things are true, and this was just a knee-jerking response, and like she was just being an asshole, I think there should be repercussions for that. Maybe she should find a new line of work. I don't think putting her on desk duty gives value to the person who she harmed.
Yeah.
And again, like this is my opinion from the space that I'm in. And a lot of it comes from what I have experienced. So I could say that today and then next week be like, you know what, on second thought, maybe she just needs some therapy. I don't know. Yeah, but that was a knee-jerker. There's been a lot of incidents in the news too, just around police brutality and just excessive force. And it's sad and heartening that we're still there too.
there's one thing about the police that is so so troubling is and I feel the same way with sort of the like support the troops mindset, where it's because of a person's position, they are sort of automatically given a pass, whereas people in a different position can not only are not given a pass, but are oftentimes destroyed, or annihilated. And yeah, it's really offensive. I think all of it's correct, is that, yeah, she probably does need therapy. Yeah. And, I think people like you and I are not the types that are going to write someone off forever. Oh. But on the other side of it, like, there needs to be accountability. So you can have an empathetic look at this individual, but it's like, you gotta respond to the, where this came from, and you need to address it, and you need to fix it. Yeah. And it is a long fucking process too.
Definitely is.
There's a interesting guy who I actually wanted to reach out to, because he's somebody I think would be good to speak with. His name's Frank Meink, and he's a former neo-Nazi. Now he's an anti-racist activist, and he served time in prison for assault and racially oriented assault, and he's got his de-radicalization process is pretty mind-blowing, because he literally kept internally justifying things. Mm-hmm. Every step forward he'd make a few steps backwards, but then like it didn't hold the way that it used to. Like one of the moments that he describes as being a huge influence was he really liked playing sports, and in the yard he played basketball. A whole bunch of the incarcerated folks who, shockingly were people of color, and he ended up getting along with these folks like on a like team level, and it started off on that, and then they started talking about like life on the outside. They talked about girls they know, they started doing all that shit, and he ended up becoming friends with them. But the thing that's really interesting about his story is he literally when he said he had kind of come to terms and was like, all right, so black people are okay and Asians are okay, but I'll always hate Jews. Like that, like I can't give up on that. And he literally got out of prison and couldn't find work, and the only person who hired him was a Jewish man. And he said on payday, the first payday, he was like, this guy's not going to pay me. Like, I know how these people are, blah, blah, blah. Dude paid him double because of the swastika tattoos, and was like, listen, like, I don't know what you did. We had a good conversation when we met. I think you're a good dude. So I just want you to know, like, I appreciate your work. And so he said that like all these like little things started to just disintegrate everything. And now he's actually one of the better people I've seen interviews with, because he's really speaking about it from the space of being, an occupier of extreme white supremacy. However, by the way, just to also go with what you were saying, like when he was at his most, blatant racism, he was at least being honest about it. Where there are so many people that you come across who, they won't they'll speak. Yeah. They'll speak differently in front of you than they will from me. You know, that's an example of some of this shit. And yeah.
Hi. What does this world come to?
I mean, yeah. So I was thinking we could maybe check out this news video on this incident.
Okay.
What's your timeline like?
I think I should have about. We can do more minutes.
Cool.
Is that good for you?
Yeah, that's good for me.
Uniform. Recently released body cam footage here shows Rose Valentino using a racial slur and also admitting to it.
WCPO 9 News reporter Jake Ryle walks us through this footage.
The city manager in a statement said that the body camera footage is disturbing. Officer Rose Valentino called it an isolated incident, her using a racial slur while on duty.
It's April 5th. Officer Rose Valentino is pulling into CPD District 3. Several cars are parked to pick up students at Western Hills University High School. Officer Valentino activated her lights and siren to get the drivers to move.
You gotta move. Ridiculous. Is she gonna just sit there?
A black teen who was leaving school raised his middle finger at Officer Valentino, which set Valentino off.
Oh, I hate him so much. God, I hate this world. I hate it.
Several seconds pass. Valentino then uses a racial slur under her breath.
Hate him.
We dug into Officer Valentino's personnel file. She's a 14-year veteran with CPD. Her performance report shows she consistently meets or exceeds standards for patrolling. She trains officers who recently graduated from the academy. Her supervisors say she's dedicated and a hardworking beat officer, adding she comes to work with a positive, motivated attitude, which is appreciated, and that she does great work. She's been reprimanded in the past for not turning on her body camera multiple times. And this is not the first time Officer Valentino has been on the city's radar for an issue involving race. In November 2018, she was one of 3 police officers involved in a lawsuit where Jerry Isham, a realtor, was showing a home to Anthony Edwards. Both are black. Court docs show she escalated the situation by aiming her gun at the 2 men and then putting them in handcuffs. The city settled the case for $151,000. And in March 2020, while off duty, she pushed and punched 2 family members and used an umbrella to damage a car. She was convicted by plea of disorderly conduct and was referred to a behavioral health center for anger management. Fast forward to the April 5th incident. According to the internal report, Officer Valentino acknowledged her statements weren't appropriate and that she was surprised the racial slur came out, and that it didn't represent who she was as an officer or how she felt about African Americans. She claimed to have been desensitized to racially offensive language by music and hearing people talk on the street. In that report, she said her job is having a negative impact on her mental health, something she's since sought help for.
According to the city manager, the disciplinary hearing process continues. We'll have more updates when they become available. Jake Ryle, WCPO 9 News.
Yeah, she's full of shit.
Yo, okay. You know what I feel, though? I do feel that people, I'm not going to say it's a white people thing or a black people thing in terms of like mental health, using it as a crutch. Like, I don't believe in that. I don't think anything is a racial thing, you know? But I do feel when people are wrong, especially to this degree, they do lean on like, oh, my mental health. Like, I do agree being a police officer is a very stressful job. I was a correction officer. Very stressful job, right? But that had nothing to do with you calling that girl a nigger. I'm sorry. You wanted to say that. You went through, I hate them. I fucking hate them. I hate them. Who's them? Do you hate kids? You said it 10 times. And the 9th of the 10th, I hate fucking niggers. I hate them. You were building up to say, I hate niggers. And you were shocked the first time you said it, which is why you said, I hate them. And you were shocked the other 6 times you said it. But your spirit wanted to say it. So you said it. Own it. And it is reflective of your character. That's who you are. You know what it is too? I think people dive into racial issues, especially biases, and they, like you said, write the person off, right? How you view the world, how you view other cultures, how you view people comes from your upbringing. And you only have a small bit of accountability in that. Now, what you can do is expose yourself, because as an adult, you have the emotional intelligence to say, I really shouldn't other or make an assumption about a person, a place, a thing, a food, experience until I have experienced it. So let me go be around some more Black people. And then if I have negative experiences there, I can say, I fucking hate them. And nobody can't tell me shit. I wouldn't be apologizing. I fucking hate them. But to not know, to lean into your bias, to lean into whatever you've been taught culturally, and just stay there knowing that you're having this tumultuous feelings, this inner conflict with a set group of people who you clearly know nothing about. That's on you, sis. And that don't have nothing to do with your job stress, sis. Before you was a police officer, you hated them. And now you hate them even more. You probably just you'll probably be a little bit more reluctant to say it. Yeah.
And, like, let's actually, it was building up to the slur, but let's not forget that she also used the word hate, like fucking 10 times or so. Like, you don't casually use the word hate towards people. You just don't. One thing, her reasoning about the music that she hears.
Oh,
like
yes.
The words.
Oh, God. It was so many. Yeah. I was ambushed with things.
Yeah.
So I couldn't express it all.
Well, it's just, I don't know. Like,
say it, Dorian. Say it.
Yeah. We've all listened to this music that has these words. Fucking, there's a death metal band called Cannibal Corpse where all their songs are about murdering people. Guess how many times it's like, like I listen to this music and it's just, I really just wanted to dig up a dead body,
Right. But no. And I like, okay. Are you listening to drill music, miss?
Yeah. Like,
what music are you listening to that evoke this N-word out of you?
Yeah.
Now you could be. Maybe you like some A Boogie or I don't know. But I also don't know.
Yeah.
And like with the initiatives that live right now around drill music, around rap music, I don't even know if that would be healthy or conducive for a law enforcement personnel. Because unless this is like some COINTELPRO shit where we're listening to the music to freaking incarcerate folks.
Yeah. No, it's also this it literally sounds like, so where I buy her excuse, like what just to give some benefit of the doubt, where I buy her excuse is that this kind of work is a very stressful work.
Yes.
And teenagers can be fucking frustrating.
Yes.
Like, no matter where you work, like no matter what, like you come across teenagers, there is going to be frustration. But the other thing is that, one reason I am so inspired by youth is they call shit out. in a very authentic way. It may not be as thoroughly thought through as the elders. It may not be necessarily through experience or completely informed in a certain way, but it's like, kid did the middle finger because they were feeling it, and it was an authentic feeling. It was like, oh well, fuck you, you fucking rude cop. Like, like you're being fucking rude. But did you realize
that? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. Go.
I'm ready to jump on my seat. Did you realize that at no point did they address the way that she was driving and honking her horn? I suffer from anxiety, severe anxiety. And I think sometimes we don't acknowledge the fact that a lot of young people, especially young people of color, suffer from anxiety. Most times inherent from their parents, right? Because when I have anxiety, if I'm having a flare-up, I am now anxious around my children, which makes them anxious, right? And do I know that this is for sure true? No. But giving another perspective. So I'm a kid walking down the street from school by myself in the climate of the world, wearing all my parents' fears on my back. I get to the light and all of a sudden it's somebody honking. Joltingly so, another knee-jerking response. I'm going to give you a fucking middle finger because you scared the crap out of me. Did we even take that into account?
Yeah.
And I understand that's a lot to process, but that's also why, like, it's important that she said that the article said that this was a teenager. Am I really calling a teenage girl a fucking nigger? That's like if a baby slaps you and you haul off and slap him back.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
No. Also, I mean, this was the response to, the fact that there were so many cars like lined up. It, to me, I don't know. I don't know the laws in Cincinnati, Ohio. I don't know like any of that shit, but it just, to me, it seems like an unnecessary use of force and power.
Yes, come on, Dorian.
Yeah, it's
which is what I mean. I don't know. I don't live in Cincinnati. I've never been. I don't know how the police are operating out there, but I definitely know in New York the police bully you off the road all the time. I have almost been hit by a police car 1 billion trillion times.
Literally today, I left the gym and was walking on the sidewalk, and there was a cop driving like their SUV on the sidewalk behind me. And I just felt like I was getting followed, but it was because they wanted to get around the fucking, the fucking cars and shit. But it was just like, you can just fucking drive on the sidewalk? Like,
right.
Like, yeah, like, yeah.
Exactly.
That happened literally 2 hours ago. So
right. So like, yes, she gave a middle finger. She's also a teenager. But you calling her a nigger will traumatize her for life.
Yeah.
The first time, I've only been called a nigger once by a white person. And I shared this with you, Dorian. And I cried like a baby. I didn't even say anything back. The guy, it was an older man, and I was on 79th Street. You know how I'm coming and I'm going and he's coming. So we do like a little dance to kind of try to get past each other. And he said, "Move out my way, you fucking nigger." I cried my eyes out. That was probably one of the most harmful conversations I've had in my life. In an instant, I felt like nothing. I felt embarrassed. In the community I was in, I felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb. I felt degraded. Just all of those things in a second. I cried my eyes out. And I was a grown woman. I was at work on a lunch break. Grown woman. I could only imagine how a young person would internalize that.
From a cop, too.
Word! So
yeah.
Shame on you, lady.
Yeah. It's, I just to put it again, out there, like, DeMarisa and I are folks that are very on the mindset of empathy and forgiveness. However, it requires you to do a lot of fucking internal work and processing. You don't just get a pass. You cannot, as a white person, ever use that word. You cannot, as a person with power, use hatred towards people you're supposed to be serving. You cannot, as a police officer, harass people of color. Like, you can't do these things. And there are gigantic historical reasons. It's not just besides the fact that it's fucking rude and horrible, it's a shitty thing to do from human being to another human being. But there are so many deep historical reasons why you cannot do these things. It's that go way beyond just being rude or being disrespectful. It is a form of violence. It's plain and simple. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, I think did you got a split? Go do your thing.
Yeah, I got a split. I have to go put my Superwoman cape on.
Oh wow!
Today.
What? Because you're so into fashion, I need to ask: are you actually wearing a cape today?
I might.
Okay.
I might. I was actually just contemplating, what am I wearing today? What am I showing up as? Who am I showing up as today? Yes. No. It might be too hot. Maybe on a cooler day.
Yeah, it's like you're probably the only person on the planet that can say, I'm going to put my Superwoman cape on. And it's like, oh, yeah, what color? Because it could be real. Like, it might not be a metaphor. Yeah.
True. This is true. Don't worry, guys. I'll post pictures.
Yeah.
If I decide to wear a cape, just for you guys. Yeah.
So yeah. No, it sounds like a good hang.
Yeah.
I guess so. With all of that, again, thank you all for listening. We have not come to any conclusions other than that police officers suck and white people need to not be racist. Yeah, and also emotional health. Like, that's the only area that I will like give her. It's like, all right, you've got emotional health issues.
No, I'm not giving her shit because she harmed that fucking girl.
No, you're right.
Too. I'm harmed.
You're right.
I'm saying even with that, hurt people. So I'm praying for her to get the support that she needs to get through this process, and for her family, because I'm sure they are utterly embarrassed. And for the Cincinnati police, because y'all gonna have a whole lot of help. Y'all keep hiring people who do things like that.
Yeah. So again, like and subscribe us. If you have, because we've now reached, we're now past it, but we've reached 250 downloads, which is very exciting.
Hey.
If you could, like, share, and subscribe. Please, post about this show. That helps us a lot. If you do iTunes subscriptions, you can write a review. That also helps us. If you're able to support us economically, we do have a Patreon. And Yeah, it's in the show notes. And yeah, just for, even $1 a month helps us tremendously. It gives us support to be able to do these things. We're going to start bringing on guests. We're going to start doing more documentary oriented type things. Plus, it also helps support just our work in regards to the community engagement that we're doing. Yes. We do have a Facebook page. We don't have an Instagram yet or a Twitter yet. We're getting there. We're getting there. Dee, where can people find you if they want to follow you on social media?
Yeah. You guys can find me on Instagram, all_of_Disa, DISA. And if you're looking to find me on Facebook, it's DeMarisa Steely. I'm out here.
Yeah, and you can follow me on, all the stuff, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I have a personal page as well as a professional page. And it's Dorian_mode. So yeah. Yeah. And then, also doing a Twitch show now. So, check that shit.
Okay.
So. All right. And with that, we'll catch y'all later. Peace out.
Catch y'all later. Peace.